Hey, I'm Kelly Hogan, and welcome back to my Zero Carb Life. I just put out a video a couple of days ago telling a little bit more about my story and why I will likely stay a zero carb carnivore forever. The short version is because I literally need to. And good heavens, hundreds of you commented on that video to say that you are the exact same way. If you eat even a small amount of plants or carbs, your old issues, your old inflammation, your old weight, it all comes right back. So thank you to those of you that commented there. I promise I have been reading them and I appreciate learning from you and hearing your experience as well. If you missed that video and you want more detail than that, I will link to it below. But for today, I just have a very short message to share. I posted this rather personal story on my Instagram account a couple of weeks ago from my minivan, and I thought that I would post it here today. I honestly do not know if this is going to be helpful, but it just kept coming back to my mind and coming back to my heart, and I thought, well, okay, here we are. So thank you for joining me today. Hey, all right, Annie is in art class right now, and I was going to take a walk. I'd already started walking, and I think I still will, but I came back for an umbrella because I've got a lot of product on this mess today. It would not hold up well to the elements. All right, I shared some of this, well, a lot more of this actually, with my group members recently. But when I was growing up, and I have mentioned him here before, I had a really close family friend. Our moms were best friends, and we grew up actually kind of getting on each other's nerves, but became good friends by the time we were teenagers. When we were teenagers and young adults in our 20s, one of our favorite things to do, sometimes just me and him, but sometimes with our moms, was after church to go eat Chinese food, the Chinese buffet. And I mean, to me, that was a good time. And we would laugh about how they were going to kick us out. You stayed too long. Okay. And then in 2004, my health had just been going downhill, especially from the time I turned 20 until I was 25. And then my doctor told me to change my diet. Well, put quite a damper on my Chinese buffet experience. Many of you know what I mean. Where it's like, sure, I could go and just get this and this and this and definitely not get that. Because the things that I had been eating there were not just, hibachi steak. I didn't want to go anymore. The experience, it was not the same. It was too much of a trigger for me, and I just did not want to go. And that had been like our thing. This friend, I'm going to tell you two things that he said to me, and you're probably going to think, wow, he was a really harsh and horrible person. But I have to tell you, that was just kind of the relationship that we had, was picking. He was a teaser, really funny, but harsh. And on this particular day, these two instances, he was not trying to be funny. But I promise you, I didn't burst into tears, because this was just kind of how we talked to each other. And on one of the occasions, he said, I don't know why you don't just be yourself, because right now you're just a fat girl in hiding. You're a fat girl in hiding. And when he said it, I knew it was true. And I laughed, actually. It was that true but uncomfortable. And sometimes truth plus discomfort is humor. That's comedy. Now, of course, I didn't admit that it was true, but it was like, shut up. Shut up. You're so stupid. That kind of banter. But the reason I say it was kind of true is because, yes, I was trying to eat like a low carber at that point, almost carnivore. I did not know the term carnivore other than like science class. I was trying to dress this new body. I was trying to play the part of this person that I didn't really feel like I really was. It's just how I wanted to look, how I was told to eat. It wasn't really me. And he knew that. He knew that the real me really wanted to go to that Chinese buffet. What he maybe didn't know was that in my dreams at night, I still dreamt of myself in my old, larger body. I still ate carbs at night. We call them carb mares. I would wake up in the morning and feel sad that I had gone back. But at the same time, that's what my subconscious still saw me as. My subconscious wasn't buying it. This is not who we are. We are still a big girl who wants to eat those foods, who looks that way, it took years for the mental transfer to happen. And I resisted it because it felt like I was doing something wrong because I had changed. So I've been torn at times through the years because there are times when I've felt our diet should not be our identity. We are not a label. Yeah, I get that. But then also times where I thought, no, this has to become who I am, how I eat, that it's not just something that, some temporary fix, that this is truly how I feel my best, and that I am a healthy, health-conscious person who enjoys. I'm a walker. I'm a weightlifter now. I may not always look like it. I get that. But I lift weights twice a week. By definition, I am a weight lifter. And getting that identity with what we're doing. I eat nothing but meat, so I am a carnivore. I am focused on sleep. I am James's wife. I am a Christian. I am a mom. Sometimes having something that we identify as can then help lead our behavior. And that may not work for you. That's okay. Just telling you what helped me. At some point I had to realize I'm not acting. This is me now. Well, that brings up the second thing that my friend said to me, which was, okay, his nickname for me, this is all he ever called me. I don't know if he ever said the word Kelly. Maybe. Was Slick. And he said, "You've changed, Slick. You've changed." And it was said not in a pleasant way. Some of you have probably heard those words from people before too. It's a put down. You know it when you hear it. It was intended to be a put down. You've changed. Disappointment. That's the tone that it's said with. Total disappointment. And in that moment, I felt total shame. It seems a little odd to me that I would interpret that as, no, I haven't, and feeling ashamed. When now I realize, my gosh, well, yes, I've changed. I changed a lot. Changed my food, my outlook, my anxiety changed, my health changed, my size changed, my hobbies changed. And I don't see that as a put down anymore. In fact, a lot of amazing things in life have to go through changes. The seasons, the leaves on the trees, caterpillars. Change is good. Even some of the main characters in the Bible had changed so much that they couldn't even go by the same name anymore. It was but you're not a Saul anymore. You're a Paul. And it wasn't seen as a, no, I haven't changed. As a, yes, I have. Don't even call me that anymore. Okay, I don't know if any of this is helpful so far, but so far what we've got is, instead of me just saying, yeah, I like to walk, I now tell people, oh, you walk too? I'm a walker. Yeah, I'm a walker. Instead of saying, yeah, I like to eat meat, I'm a carnivore. And I don't have to say that to everybody. In fact, I don't. Nobody cares. But to myself, instead of saying, I birthed children, I'm a mom. Instead of just, I follow Christ, I am a Christian. I think the words that we use to follow the words I am. And I'm not saying that we should do it to the detriment of our health, as in but I'm a carnivore. I can't change anything because it would be, I just can't make a change. No, what I'm saying is sometimes change is necessary, and it's okay. It's okay that I'm not the same person I used to be. It might be more than okay. Maybe we're intended to change and not always stay exactly the same. Okay, now look, the rest of this story is not super uplifting and positive. Just gonna tell you right up front. But that friend who was very opposed to people changing, change was bad. We don't move, we don't change, we stick to what we do. He actually had a very hard time making changes in his own life. And I think that's part of why it was so disappointing to him when anyone else would change. It's because he struggled to make changes. He was a diagnosed diabetic who let it go untreated, and this was the friend that passed away about a year ago. 47 years old. Died at home. Could have been very likely completely preventable, reversible. This was fixable. But I know sometimes people really struggle to make changes. If you have this hang up where you keep self-sabotaging, maybe there have been people in your life who have made it seem like change is bad. And I think it's worth acknowledging change can be amazing. I am so thankful that I am not still back where I was, eating the same foods and living the same life and having the same health problems. And it took me having to make some changes and say no to some things and to some people. And we're going to try to add a happy ending here. Happy ending is you're still here. You and I, we are still here. It is not too late to change. It's not too late to think, yeah, I could have a different identity, whether that's a different identity through Christ or a different identity of how you eat, how you want to feel, the life you want to live, the activity level you want to have. Maybe you don't lift weights, so you legitimately can't say, I'm a weightlifter. Well, guess what? Start going. Let's pick some up. Then you're a weightlifter. Maybe you don't take walks after dinner. Let's go today. It's one of the simplest changes that could change a lot about your life. And if you're ever feeling that hesitancy of, but I don't want to change my life, I shouldn't change, maybe this is where it's coming from. Maybe you've been shamed for changing. I just had one more thought. At least. Everything changes. Even if you were to build a house and say, I'm not going to change a thing, I'm going to keep it exactly the same. Come back in 100 years, it's changed. Not just everything in nature, little tiny things like butterflies, but giant mountains, rivers flow through them. They change the landscape. Everything changes. Being stagnant is a lie. Staying constant, I'm never going to change, it's a lie. So we might as well decide the ways that we want to change. Because if we do nothing to build muscle, we're just going to lose it. If we do nothing to protect bones, they're just going to get weaker. Ultimately, he changed dramatically. He's no longer with us, and he was the one the most hesitant to change. Dang, I hadn't even thought of that till now. He has changed the most and wanted to change the least. Okay, I'm gonna walk now. Why? Because I'm a walker. That's why. Love y'all. Bye. Thanks for showing up to watch. If you have any thoughts, I'd love to read them below. How has change been for you? What changes have actually mattered? Have people kind of been combative or made you try to make you feel ashamed of the fact that you have made some changes? If so, talk about it. If you need some help, I'm here. I have a whole group of people who would be thrilled to cheer you along as you try to change your health and change your life. Change is not always easy, and it will not always be accepted by everyone in your life. I know. I remember. But changing saved my life. So I'm pulling for you. If you would like to join me and other people who would also be pulling for you, then the link is below. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you next Saturday. Bye.